everyone, it's Lear from Ribblr, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can crochet your very own amigurumi chunky bee. This is a free interactive crochet pattern on Ribblr, so just click the link in the description box, simply get the pattern, and then you can join this video from within the pattern and see the instructions at the same time. Also feel free to start a journal from within the pattern, and then you can upload your work in progress pictures and your finished object pictures, and it's really cool because then I'll be able to go over the pictures and see your beautiful makes, and you can also share them on our community. There's a couple of options to make this bee. You can either make it extra chunky or you can make a smaller version. And the difference between them is for the larger one you're going to use 2 strands of the yarn held together and a larger hook, and for the smaller one you're going to use just 1 strand with a smaller hook. So it's essentially the same pattern worked in 2 different ways. If you haven't worked with chenille yarn before, then feel free to check out this video where I give you 5 tips for working with chenille yarn. And this is what you're going to need to make this bee. You're going to need chunky polyester chenille yarn. This is by James C. Brett. It's Flutterby Chunky, but you can use any brand. You can just check the gauge in the cover page of the pattern to see that you've got the correct size, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter because then it will only affect the size of your final bee. 8mm crochet hook or a 5.5mm crochet hook if you are making the smaller bee. And I'm going to be showing you how to make the smaller bee, but I'll also show you how you can hold 2 strands of yarn together to make the chunky larger bee. You're going to need some toy stuffing. So depending on the size of the bee that you're making, you're going to need a different amount. You can get this at the craft store, or you can recycle this out of old toys or cushions. You're also going to need a little bit of black, white, and pink DK or light worsted yarn with a 3 or 3.5mm hook, and that's to make the eyes and the blush on the cheeks. And of course a yarn needle and scissors to sew everything together and to cut all the remaining tails. So now that you have everything you need, let's pop into the Ribblr ePattern and start making our very own amigurumi chunky bee. Ribblr ePattern is an interactive and eco-friendly pattern format where you can find amazing interactive features such as smart sizing selection, stitch tutorial videos. If a pattern is in English US terms, you can change it to English UK and vice versa. This video tutorial will be shown in US terms, but you can view this pattern in UK terms and also in Spanish for both Spain and Latin America. So you can either work with 2 separate balls of yarn, or you can grab the 2 ends of one ball and then work with the 2 separate ends. If you can find it, sometimes it hides really well in there. But if you can find the 2 ends of the ball, you can just grab them both and work with them. Or the third option is that you can cut a little bit of yarn, put it aside, and then work with the main ball of yarn and a little bit of the same ball. And then obviously when your small ball finishes, you can just keep adding more yarn to the other thread. So basically you're working with 2 strands at the same time, and that's how you make the larger bee basically. So you're working with 2 strands of yarn instead of 1. So we're going to start with making a chain 2. And then we're going to make 6 single crochets into the first chain. And I'm working over the beginning tail just so I can secure it and also pull it tight after the single crochets are done, so I'm not going to have a gap. When you finish making 6 single crochets, make a slip stitch into the first stitch, and this is how we're going to end every round. You're also going to start every round by making a chain 1. Round 2, you're going to make 2 single crochets in the same stitch, and then 2 single crochets in every stitch across, so you'll have a total of 12 stitches. The first stitch in every round of the body is going to be made into the same stitch, so you can follow this principle when you work every round of the body. Next, we're going to make 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochets in the next. And we're going to repeat that all around, and we'll have a total of 18 stitches. So for round 4, we're going to make single crochets in the first 2 stitches and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So we're going to work that all around, and we're going to have a total of 24 stitches. Next, we keep on increasing, and we're going to single crochet in the first 3 stitches and then do 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Now we're going to repeat that around, and then we'll have a total of 30 stitches. What we're going to do now is we're going to alternate the location of the increases. So we're not going to create sharp corners and we will have a smoother circle. So instead of increasing in exactly the same spot, we're going to move our increases. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to single crochet in the first 2 stitches, and then we're going to make our increase in the next stitch, so making 2 single crochets. And now we're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches. And next we're going to add the increase. And so now we're going to make 4 single crochets and then an increase around until we reach to the last 2 stitches. So it's going to leave us with the remaining 2 stitches at the end. And then we're going to just single crochet in each stitch. So we increased a total of 6 times, and we now have 36 stitches around. For round 7 to 12, we're just going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around. When you finish the 12th round, don't slip stitch into the first stitch because we're going to change color. And this is also if you want to use amigurumi eyes, like the plastic eyes, you can insert them now to the face. I'm going to show you how you can crochet the eyes, but if you want plastic eyes, you can do that. So now you're going to start the slip stitch into the first stitch, but instead of drawing the first color, you're going to pick up the second color, the contrasting color, and then pull it through the 2 loops. And I like to tie the 2 colors together in the back because you can't see it anyway, and I just tuck it in and it just makes everything more secure. Don't cut the first color, we're going to pick it up in a few more rounds. So rounds 13 to 14, we're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around using the second color. You're not going to work over the other color, you're just going to leave it where it's attached. And now to change to the first color, you're going to start the slip stitch into the first stitch and then pick up the first color instead of the second color and then pull it through the 2 loops. And then you're going to carry on working rounds 15 to 17th, making 1 single crochet in every stitch around with your first color. And again, we're going to change color exactly the same way on the slip stitch to the first stitch, and I'm going to pick up the second color again, and we're going to work rounds 18 and 19 in the second color, so making 1 single crochet in every stitch around. And this is where we're going to finish working with the second color. So we're going to change one last time back into the first color, and then we're going to cut the second color. And again, I like tying the tail of the 2 colors together because it's not visible and it just feels that it's going to be a bit more secure. And I just leave all the tails inside the body. And what we're going to do now for rounds 20 to 24, we're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch around in the first color. Round 25, we're going to single crochet in the first 5 stitches. And then we're going to make a decrease. So we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together. And now we're going to repeat this all around until we reach the beginning of our round. And now we're going to finish the round with a slip stitch, and we've decreased 6 stitches. For the next round, we're going to single crochet in the first 4 stitches. And then we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together. Repeat that all around until we've decreased 6 stitches. And we'll have a total of 30 stitches. Now you want to start stuffing your bee, so it's up to you how firm you want the bee to be, but I didn't stuff it too much, at least not at this point, because it's a bit harder to work if you overstuff it, so just stuff until you can see a definite shape. Round 27, we're going to make 3 single crochets, and then we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together. We're going to repeat this all around, so we'll have a total of 24 stitches. Round 28, we keep on decreasing, so we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to single crochet 2 together, decrease. And we're going to repeat that around, and we'll have a total of 18 stitches. Round 29, we're going to make 1 single crochet and then single crochet 2 together, decrease. And we're going to repeat that all around until we have a total of 12 stitches. So now you can finish stuffing your bee, so add as much stuffing as you feel is necessary. and then we're going to work our last round. So we're going to make a single crochet 2 together, decrease all around round 30. And slip stitch into the first stitch. And then what we're going to do is we are going to fasten off and leave some yarn for sewing. And to close the hole, we're going to thread a yarn needle with the remaining tail. And what we're going to do is we're going to weave the remaining tail along the top of the 6 stitches that we have on round 30. And then we're just going to pull it tight until the hole closes. And you can make a little knot and hide the remaining yarn in the body of the bee. So just insert it and just like pull it out of a different spot and cut the remaining tail. And that's it, the body is done. So you've just completed the body of the bee. Now we're going to crochet the wings and the eyes, and then we're going to assemble everything together. So for the wings, you're going to work with white, and you're going to start with making a chain of 7 stitches. And then you're going to make 3 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. Now you're going to single crochet in the next 4 chains. And then on the next chain you're going to make 3 single crochets, rotating to the back of the stitches as you make the single crochets. So now you're going to be working on the back of the previous 4 single crochets, and you're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches. And you're going to finish this round with a slip stitch into the first stitch. For round 2, you're going to chain 1 and then make 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And then 2 single crochets in the following 2 stitches. Now you're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches. And then in the following 3 stitches you're going to increase, so you're going to be making 2 single crochets in each of the next 3 stitches. Next, you're going to make 1 single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. Then finish with a slip stitch into the first stitch. For round 3, you're going to chain 1 and then single crochet in the same stitch and increase by making 2 stitches in the next stitch. Now you're going to repeat that over the next 4 stitches. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single crochet in the following one, and then again 1 single crochet in the next stitch and 2 single crochets in the following one. So what we're going to do now is we're going to slip stitch into the remaining stitches of the round. So it will be a total of 14 slip stitches. So just insert your hook and slip stitch until you reach all the way back to the first stitch. When you're finished, you're going to slip stitch into the first stitch of the round. And then you're going to fasten off, leaving a long tail for sewing. Then just make another wing, and then we can move on to making the eyes. So you're going to work with a DK or light worsted black yarn, and you're going to start by making a magic ring or a magic loop or any form of adjustable ring to begin your work. And in the ring you're going to make 6 single crochets. Then you're going to close the ring. I used a double magic ring because I think it's more secure, but you can do whichever ring you prefer. And then finish the round by making a slip stitch into the top of the first stitch. For round 2, you're going to chain 1 and then make 2 single crochets into the same stitch and 2 single crochets in every stitch around. So you're going to have a total of 12 stitches. Slip stitch into the first stitch to finish and fasten off. If you want a larger eye, you can add another round of stitches. Just add 6 more stitches to the round, so you'll have a total of 18 stitches. Fasten off and leave a long tail for sewing. So now we have the body of the bee, 2 wings, 2 eyes, and we also need a little bit of black DK yarn or light worsted yarn and pink light worsted yarn. So these are going to be for the face details at the end, so you need that later. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the wings, and basically there's a narrow part and a thicker part. So the narrow part is at the top and the thicker part is at the bottom. So the narrower part is going to be on the inside, so this is where we're going to attach it to the body, and then the wider part it's going to be the wing itself. So we're going to sew the narrower part of the wing to the body, and you can use pins to hold it in place, or you can just sew it as it is. I usually don't pin it, and I'm using the remaining tail from the fasten off of the wing. And then I'm basically going to kind of like weave it until I reach the narrow part of the wing, because this is where I'm going to attach it to the body. So I'm basically kind of like moving the yarn to be at the bottom of the wing. And now I'm going to position it where I want to sew it, and then just sew it in place a few times. Doesn't need to be that many. And I'm placing it right between the two stripes, so on the MC part of the middle of the bee, so right between the two stripes. Just a few stitches will do. You can also kind of like insert it to the back if you want to have the wing not flapping around too much. You can just kind of like make a little stitch in the middle over here. Now maybe slightly in the back, so around here. And now the wing is more stable and kind of connected in 2 points rather than just one. And now I'm going to make a knot, and I'm hiding the remaining tail in the body, and then I'll just use my scissors. I'm going to cut it. Okay, so we have we have the remaining tail from the beginning of the wing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the beginning tail of the wing in the body as well. So I'm going to just pull it in with a hook and just tuck it in, kind of hide it in there so I don't need to cut it. And that's it. I have one wing done, and now I'm going to attach the other one with a little bit of a gap in the middle. So I'm going to leave a bit of space here, and I'm going to attach the wing on the other side. Again, the narrow part goes in the middle, is the one where you sew, and the wide part is on the outside. Again, I'm going to move to the back behind the wing, and I'm going to make a stitch to kind of like secure the wing in place. And then I'm going to make a knot and tie the yarn and hide the remaining tail into the body. And then I'm going to cut the remaining tail. And as we did before, I'm going to use a hook to hide the beginning tail from the wing in the body as well. So now I have the two wings on the bee. It's so cute. So now we're going to take the two eyes and we're going to place them in the front face part of the bee, and you can do that whichever way you like. Play around with positioning and find the place that you think is the cutest, and then we're going to sew it with the remaining tail of the eyes. Make sure when you sew the eyes that they are aligned with the wings, so that the wings are in the middle and they're not tilted to one side. So the bee is flat on the surface and the wings are at the top, and then you sew the eyes and everything is even on every side. When you finish sewing the eye, just make a knot and hide the tail in the eye. Then you want to cut the tail. Do the same with the beginning tail. You want to hide it behind the eye. And cut. So now you have one eye on. Go ahead and sew the other one right next to it to the other side, and then we're going to add the face details. So this looks a bit scary now. So we're going to take a little bit of white DK yarn and we're going to make a little kind of like embroider a little circle in the middle point of the eye. A bit more to the right, so to the inner middle point of the eyes. We're going to embroider it with white, and this will be the little shine in the eye. And now we're going to thread some more black light worsted yarn in a needle, and we're going to embroider a mouth. This is optional, you can decorate the face however you like, but I like to add a smile because I think it's cute. So feel free to do something else, embroider something else, or if you don't want to have any mouth at all, you can just leave it with the eyes and the blush that we're going to add soon. But I like adding a mouth because I think it makes everything a little more cute. And that's it for this video. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed making your very own amigurumi bee. I'm really excited to have a look in your journals and seeing all the finished object pictures, so make sure you upload a picture when you finish your bee. Also, if you've downloaded Ribblr on Google Play Store or Apple Store, feel free to leave a review. We really love reading all your feedbacks and comments, and we always try to add more features that you suggest to future updates on Ribblr. Let me know in the comments or the Ribblr community if there's any specific pattern that you might want to see in the future on Ribblr with a video tutorial. Until next time, stay crafty!